What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy Wormy. I'm coming at you with a interesting video. Not normally will I be talking about Last of Us outside of maybe some major news for the show or my review for the show, but I kind of like this story at the same time. I don't, because there's numbers missing and I can't seem to find them. So if somebody in the comment might end up having these overall numbers that they're so interestingly leaving out, I'd greatly appreciate it. But as you can see right here, The Last of Us HBO series drove 238% jump in PlayStation Games UK sales. Now, before we move forward, these are only for the physical box, physical copies, so we don't know digital sales. We also don't know what the sales were prior to now. I don't know that number. Without the prior sales number, I can't do the math to figure out what the current sales are. So it could be, for instance, you could be seeing like, well, one sale, there was one copy sold to now there's 10 copies sold. The math doesn't add up there, but you get what I'm trying to say. I don't have that overall number, and it's kind of disconcerting a little bit, but it is what I'm going to have to deal with for right now. That being said, I'm going to adjust this a little bit. It's a little crooked. I'll have to deal. That being said, still like these. I was not trying to think of my words here. This doesn't shock me. The sales jump doesn't shock me. That's what I'm trying to say. Because we saw this before. We saw this with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk 2077 sees massive explosion in sales following premiere of Edge Runners anime. And I like that. I thought that was cool. I'm playing Cyberpunk now on my channel. Go check it out. I'll have a link to the playlist at the end. I'm not shocked, really. I do think, though, this is not going to bode well for the show overall, because the game is a masterpiece. It is one of the top 3. I'd say it's a top 3 game. It's not number 1, but it is a top 3. Maybe top 10. It's in the top, definitively best game of all time, top 10, probably up towards top 3. Part 1 is. Part 2 is a disaster, and nothing you guys could say will ever change that. I do not know what this will do. Granted, these are also UK sales, so American sales I don't have. It's not enough to just watch The Last of Us. Viewers are ready to play too. You know, according to GamesIndustry.biz, the game's 2022 PS5 remake, The Last of Us Part 1, re-entered the UK sales chart at the number 20 spot after a 238% jump in sales for the week of January 21st, 2023. Its PS4 predecessor, The Last of Us Remastered, also saw a sizable boost with a 322% sales bump. That placed it at number 32. Well, when I go over to the GameSpot, well, GamesIndustry.biz, again, right off the bat, The Last of Us Part 1 sales jumped 238% after TV show launched in UK box charts. Yeah, but they don't give me the numbers. They just say this is week. So this is week 1. Fire Emblem. 2, FIFA. 3 weeks, God of War. 4 weeks, Mario Kart 8. 6, 5 weeks, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. 6, tied for last week, this week. Okay, so they're being tied. Relatively, okay, not bad numbers. Problem is, I don't have numbers to go off of alongside this. All I'm saying is, well, this physical sale was number 1. The newest one, Fire Emblem, which obviously it just came out, that's number 1. FIFA's number 2. God of War, so on and so on and so on. And I'm sorry, I got these numbers all mixed up, how they're tracking it. I'm starting to get it now. I don't have the initial numbers though. Because when I come up here, the biggest rise of the week is Last of Us Part 1, which oddly enough, when you look at it, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs down is when they start talking about it. Which returns to the chart as number 20 with 238% spike in sales week on week. The game has been boosted by the new TV series based on the title, which is available to view in the UK via Sky Atlantic. The PS4 version of the game, The Last of Us Remastered, also re-entered the charts at number 32 with a 322% sales spike. Okay, cool. I'm not going to deny that. That's awesome. The first game was fantastic. And I don't think this is going to bode well for the show, because the game's so much better than the show. How is the show marketing itself a lot of time? Well, we can go with these stills right here. Last of Us Episode 2 TV show versus game comparison. Joel fighting a clicker. Joel fighting a clicker. Joel getting bit by a clicker in the museum. Ellie walking across a piece of wood. Joel and Sarah over here. Well, Joel and Tess over here, not Sarah. Oh, look. Ellie walking across a piece of wood, although not the same moment. But looks similar. Oh, what else do we have? Oh, we got the Capitol building. Yep, we got the Capitol building. Oh, look, Capitol building. 1 for 1. Oh, look, Joel, clicker. Joel's hiding from clicker. I do not see the resemblance whatsoever. They're doing shot-for-shot moments and sometimes shot-for-shot dialogue. Exactly the same, but they're changing how people died. I mean, Tess dies by getting shot up by a federale. She doesn't snog with a infected beforehand, so I don't know how this will actually fare for the show. This actually might hurt the show a lot, because people are going back to the original story. Now, when it came to like Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the reason it works for Cyberpunk, and I will say this really works for Cyberpunk, is because when it comes to Cyberpunk, it's kind of an anthology. It's a world series. It's a thing that, hey, you can go over here and deal with these people, then simultaneously go over here and see this story. It's not a overall narrative. It's an anthology, more or less. Things are just happening, and you're following those stories. That might not even be interconnected whatsoever. Edgerunners is actually set prior to 2077. It kind of works here. Here, it actually might damage the overall viewing rate. Now, how bad is it going to happen? I don't know. I really don't know. And again, when it comes to these numbers that I don't know if, say for example, the PS4 predecessor jumping 322% sales bump to make it 32nd place. What is that number? Is it 20 sales? We'll do fast math. We will do fast math, and I'm probably going to do this horribly wrong, so give me a moment. We'll pull up the calculator, Calcumajigger, if it wants to open. So let's say initially it was selling 20 copies the week before. Multiply that by, I want to say it's, I might be doing this math all wrong, but give me a moment. I probably did that math all horribly wrong, and people are going to be laughing at me in the comments section down below, and you're more than welcome to. It's been a little while since I've done this. So we multiply this, maybe it's 3.22. Jumps up 64 copies. Let's say that. Let's say that's how many copies are going on, because that actually looks more accurate. Is that actually an improvement? Oh, well, last week it sold 20 copies. This week it sold 64 copies. Well, let's do the same math. number 20 spot. So obviously already had a bigger jump. So let's say it was selling 100 copies a week. Okay, let's be generous. It is for the PS5. It came out last year. Let's say it's selling 100 copies a week. Multiply that by 2.38. 238. I should have already known that, but I'm most stupid. I'm doing this off the fly. Again, that's great. Have people go back and play the game. Have people play it. I would like people to go play the game rather than watch the show, because the game is so much better than the show. So I actually see this as a win overall. Similarly, when I saw the Cyberpunk 2077 story, I did go out and buy the game and now I'm enjoying Cyberpunk 2077. I want to play that more. I just have limited time on my channel to do live things and play games and stuff like that. So I have to work it in as I can. My biggest concern, I would say the biggest win, though, is people are going back to play the games. We saw this similarly during Rings of Power, where while Rings of Power was going on, guess what? Sales went up by a lot. Copies of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was going up. Sales for the Peter Jackson trilogy, sales for the original books. People were going back to the original. People were going back to see, well, what's the big hype? Why is this so popular? And they were seeing the original stories. And then the numbers for Rings of Power started dropping more and more. I'm wondering if this is going to happen here, where, yeah, you can have shot-for-shot moments. You know, you can have shot-for-shot scenes. I think a better moment to go by is a more accurate version. You know, you can have exact copies from game to show. But if that's all you got, what's the point? What's the point of your story if all you got is, oh, we have an exact copy moment from the game, but yet people are going back to the game and seeing noticing all the changes, noticing spores are gone, noticing, well, this doesn't happen. Well, she doesn't die like that, so the show's not being portrayed right. We don't have all this. We have this. Maybe people are going to be more inclined to say, hey, the game's better, and we'll start not watch the show as much. I don't know. I can't predict the future. All that being said, guys, feel free to laugh at me in the comments down below for my awful math. If you can find these numbers, again, post them. I'd be more than happy to know them. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Sharing it out with your friends, guys. Sharing the video is so important. I really appreciate it if you do. And if I earned your subscription today, I want you to press that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.